Welcome to the Undrafted Uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanger. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome in everyone to the Undrafted Uncensored, where I'm going to ask everybody for one little favor, small one. If you go to Santiago's and there's two drive-up lanes, don't everybody stack up in the first one. Get your ass around to the other one. Just saying. Don't be dumb.
You know, you want to get in the express lane to the poop bill.
Yeah.
So
I mean, my sinuses and my allergies flared up, so I needed the chili to start burning it out.
That makes sense.
And so, I'm sitting in line, and this is the first time I've been to this Santiago's that's up here by my house since they moved.
What?
And so, turn the sound off there. And so I'm sitting there in the line, and it's going through it's snaking through the parking lot a little bit. And one car backs up and leaves, and then another car pulls up, and then I see him backing up. I'm like, what is going on? Why is everybody backing up? Like a car broken down or something? I'm looking around trying to figure out what's going on. And he backs up and goes over to the next lane. I'm like, I've been sitting here for 10 minutes and there's a whole other lane.
You're getting cut in front of.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I did. I pulled that bad boy.
Yeah, absolutely. As you should. I always I've done that before where I'll just not be paying attention and I'll just pull into the drive-through and, I'll have something that I wanted to see on my phone, like some sports thing or whatever, and then realize that there's two lanes and I could have just gone over. But definitely not when there's an entire line full of people. I feel like that's did they all just assume that the other line just wasn't functioning or something?
To be fair, Nick didn't know there was a second line for a minute, so it is a new Santiago.
My defense, my first time there, but I could see the second line when the other cars were going over there.
Well, yes, but maybe these other people did not either, and they were just. Some people are stuck in their ways. It takes a while.
Some people are just stuck with the rectal cranial.
It's much like George Payton was giving Sean Payton a hard time last night, saying possibly we'll drop down in the draft. Like, some people are just stuck in their ways. Sean Payton has never gone back in a draft, so George Payton was giving him crap about it. People might just be stuck in their ways. They need to stay in their lane.
No, I mean, if we're going to go that route, the Broncos actually did move down today to pick themselves up a very, very talented wide receiver.
Or move back, excuse me.
We can use those.
Never got back in the draft, yeah.
I know what you meant.
Moving up in the draft is getting a higher pick.
Moving down is not. Yeah, we smell what you're stepping in.
Yeah, so Troy Franklin is the newest Denver Bronco that was selected earlier this morning. The number one wide receiver for Bo Nix at Oregon.
Oh, cool.
So obviously, the Broncos are setting themselves up to try and succeed. And we'll start there. The number one draft pick with the 12th overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Denver Broncos select, I'm sorry, who was it?
Nix guy.
Bo Nix, baby.
And
I'm going to be honest, I really thought they were going to skip him. I really thought they were going to go for Brock Bowers.
I was okay with that because there's still a chance of trading back up and getting the quarterback because we didn't know how far Bo Nix was going to fall. Oh, look at that dog.
Fred Frank.
So there was an element of potential greed of trying to be able to get both. But I also feel like the Raiders probably would have taken him if he was there. That's because they took Brock Bowers, and I'm very sad. I was sitting next to our boy Kevin Kistner, and the whole time he was just belligerently yelling, "Brock Bowers! Bowers!" They wanted the talented tight end, and I don't know, man. I'm okay with it either way. I liked Bo Nix. I didn't hate him. He didn't have as many question marks as Penix with the injury stuff. And McCarthy just never felt right. He just kind of felt like Mac Jones. Like sometimes that kind of guy works out great, and sometimes that guy is Trevor Siemian or Mac Jones. Or
well, I don't know if I'd say
whatever.
Trevor Siemian worked out great.
Trevor Siemian is a fantastic backup quarterback in the NFL.
Yes.
Well, because he was a 7th round pick. So, but he ended up getting thrust into a starting position. But that style of quarterback, where he's more up here than down here, and then either they're Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Drew Brees or someone really good, or they're just some guy that's whatever. But yeah, Bo Nix is kind of like good at everything, but Drake May is good at everything too, and I still feel like he's going to end up being terrible. I don't know why I have that feeling. It's just it's something that kind of started to grow in me over that last week or so. But I think the Broncos got the steal. Like, my whole point with the drafting a quarterback is if you can get a guy, get him, because that accelerates your timetable significantly for the rebuild that you've been avoiding for a fucking decade almost. Damn it. So the fact that they got lucky, he fell, but also there's fucking 6 quarterbacks going in the first round. So that part of it too worked out really good for the Broncos. I need to look up the stats, but like historically, the last quarterback taken in the first round ends up being pretty damn good. Lamar Jackson.
Well, I wouldn't even go. Lamar Jackson, historically pretty damn good. Yeah, he has an MVP and 1 playoff win. Let's not go.
That's pretty damn good.
Let's not go that far. Pretty damn good, because 1 playoff win is not what this franchise is all about.
We will take that.
But to go, yeah, we'll take that for a guy who we just want to cover us until we can get another guy. Lamar Jackson is supposed to be a generational quarterback and lead those guys to a Super Bowl. That's what Lamar Jackson is supposed to do. For that
he's
team.
A different style guy. I don't know if that running style is ever really going to.
Well, yeah, but you're comparing him as the last pick, and if you're
I'm just saying if that's what you get, that's fantastic, because the last quarterbacks the Broncos have gotten have been Drew Lock and Paxton Lynch, and like an MVP would be fucking phenomenal. That means your team is good again. That means the rebuild worked. That means you can build around a quarterback now. Like obviously that's like best case scenario, but we'll see.
Well, I don't see Bo Nix ever being an MVP type of guy.
Probably not.
So what I will say is it goes back to my main point is I never like to be the last one to the party selecting a quarterback. The Broncos did get the best one that was left after the top 3 were gone, in my opinion. I will say that. I don't think he's ever going to be a superstar. I do want to make sure. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, watching. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe to the show as you're here, and maybe you'll get a dog in your face if you're lucky. But what I will say is Bo Nix, he's not. I don't think he's ever going to be great and win MVPs, but he can work in a Sean Payton offense.
But you don't need him to win MVPs either. You just need him to steer that offense appropriately. I mean, MVP is great, but that's top tier. That's the $180 bottle of bourbon.
Yeah,
I'm content with that. I'm content with a $75 bottle of bourbon right now.
Okay, well, so you're content with maybe making the playoffs?
No, I'm not.
Well,
saying
no, but okay. So this is what I'm saying. As Broncos country, we want to win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And for me, what I'm sitting here saying is I don't know if Bo Nix is a Super Bowl type of winning quarterback. Look at the last quarterbacks to win Super Bowls. You're telling me that those guys aren't in the upper echelon? They're above average. I think Bo Nix can definitely be at least an average quarterback.
2 of them are generational quarterbacks, though. One's Tom Brady, and the other's Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you're going on
and Matthew Stafford.
That's one.
Stafford.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Now
pull up your PFF list. Where that BS list was.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's see where Matthew Stafford and Russell.
He's still a couple Eli Mannings away, I think.
No, he's not. But what I'm saying is I do believe in Bo Nix and what he can do with Sean Payton. Okay, I think he will be good, above average, maybe just at average. He just has to. The thing at Oregon is that he had playmakers, and the Broncos getting Troy Franklin today is a very big deal because Troy Franklin was one of those playmakers. Someone I saw this from Cecil Lammy posted that Troy Franklin eats cushion. So when he gets cushion coverage, he crushes it. All right. And that's what
like something you would see on Urban Dictionary.
And that's what the Broncos don't have right now is guys who can be playmakers. When at the start of this, when you were talking about Bo Nix, you were talking about him passing into Cortland Sutton, maybe Tim Patrick, and who? Jaleel McLaughlin, Javonte Williams. I mean, what tight end is going to be healthy? Or even stay healthy. Exactly. And so for Bo Nix, while he had those 45 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, a lot of those touchdowns were due to the fact that he had playmakers take the ball and go with it. It's not that Bo Nix can't throw deep. It's not that I'm saying he doesn't have the ability to do a lot of these things. What I am saying is that his playmakers allowed him a lot of flexibility because he could get the ball out and they would go make a play afterwards. His depth of target was one of the lowest in college football while he was at Oregon. So you need playmakers, but what I'm saying is you need playmakers and you need more than just a quarterback, which is what I think that the Broncos did in getting Franklin today. I think that was a big piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need those other guys and you still need more because right now, how many times have we seen Cortland Sutton drop a ball on third down?
I think we're saying the same thing. I think we're just trying to say it a little different because you want him to be MVP caliber because that guarantees Super Bowls. You don't necessarily need to be a MVP or a Hall of Fame style quarterback to get to a Super Bowl. And again, the playmakers are really what make the quarterback anyway. As much as we want to cry, piss, and moan about incompletions, how many of those are on the quarterback? How many of them are on the wide receiver? I mean, if your receivers can't maintain control of the football, that's not on the quarterback. But at the same time, if you're getting it to their hands and they're just dropping whatever, that's not on the quarterback. And I understand we put more pressure on the quarterback because he is the leader of that offense. He's steering the ship. But at the same time, he's got to be given a little grace too, because not everything he does is on him. Once that football leaves his hand, it's up to the wide receiver to make that completion.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, though, is that the Broncos haven't had those guys too consistently in the last few years, especially with Tim Patrick being out, to be reliable pass catchers. I mean, how many drops did we see? Obviously, Judy's not here anymore, but what were there? There were at least 4 guaranteed touchdowns for Judy that he dropped. Sutton, while he made some incredible plays last year, I talked about this with Russ and Sutton. Those plays, while they were incredible, they were also defied logic on how they could happen. Like, you don't rely on those things to happen.
No.
But we did see Sutton dropping passes that, as a number one, you should catch. Maybe a little bit behind him or a little in front of him on third down. Sutton is the most veteran receiver on this team. I don't even know if he's still here throughout this draft day today as we go along. I think he will just stay because the Broncos couldn't. They got the defensive lineman, which I really like, from Utah. He's going to be solid.
Yep.
The Broncos just don't have any more offensive talent to go with them right now, and that's the tough part, is that they're still lacking in the talent area.
Well, and
so Bo Nix needs some help.
And we knew going into this draft, though, that no matter what they did, there were still going to be holes. No matter who you drafted, whether or not you moved up or down, or you make any other trades, we knew there were still going to be holes. And we're not, I don't know about you guys. I'm not expecting a whole lot for next season because you have potentially a rookie quarterback, or Zach Wilson, one of those two, which I want to touch on that too here in a minute.
God.
And your quarterback room is Jarrett Stidham, Zach Wilson, Bo Nix, obviously, and Joe's favorite quarterback,
Benedenucci.
Danucci's gone.
Yeah, Danucci's obviously gone because
I can't wait for that 3-man backup quarterback race between Stidham, Zach Wilson, and Benedenucci.
And obviously there's still gonna be holes at wide receiver, because you have a rookie. We don't know can Tim Patrick stay healthy? Will Cortland stick around? And then do the running backs return to what they were? I'm not expecting a lot. And Colin, I know this is going to surprise the hell out of you. I'm going to be happy with 5 wins.
Oh, that means another good draft pick.
You're welcome.
But yeah, because now the Broncos finally have the quarterback. They have the thing to build around, and they can figure out everything else now. And then obviously if he ends up looking terrible next year, a la, Josh Rosen or whatever, you might end up being terrible enough to get another one, which sounds awful. That's like worst case scenario, but it's you have to get that part figured out, I feel like. Or they could go the classic Denver Broncos route and just build a really great roster, and then whoever's the quarterback for the Colts. It's too bad we couldn't get Gardner Minshew and keep that tradition going of Colts to Broncos quarterback success. So
that's the Raiders how that's working out.
Yeah, so Anthony Richardson, I think, is going to end up being the next Broncos quarterback in the next 5 years. You heard it here first, folks.
If he can stay healthy.
So
I got some music in the background. I don't know if someone has music.
Oh, that's probably my roommate is listening to anime music. I'll close my door.
What I was gonna say too that I'm afraid of is that so Bo Nix, I'm not worried about him leaving Auburn to go to Oregon in those stats. What I am worried about
did that fix it?
Is yes, very much so. What I am worried about is Bo Nix getting hit behind this offensive line. The offensive line at the end of last year did do a better job. Mm-hmm. Not great. Once again, they still can use some work. But what I do get nervous about is him getting the Sam Darnold treatment and seeing ghosts out there. That's really scary to me because at Oregon, I mean, his shirt was cleaner than an operating room. All right.
And they got
his offensive line did a great job.
Yep.
They do. Yeah. He could have resold those and sold them as new.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can return that shit without the receipt.
But I'm worried about his getting hit because at Auburn he got hit a lot. And granted, he was younger. He has grown and matured, I believe, in the years at Oregon. Oh, yeah. But I'm worried about being in the NFL, him taking a beating because the offensive line just lets guys by him. We got to remember, last year was one of the first years that the Broncos offensive line stayed together the whole season. We hadn't seen that in I don't know how long, and it showed at the end of the season. But
Orange Crush.
Hush.
Orange Hush.
No, I like Orange Crush. That's it's been since the Orange Crush. They haven't,
Nayland Zimmerman.
I know, yeah,
those guys.
Yeah. But I don't know if the Broncos. I don't know if those guys can stay that healthy this year again. I'm nervous about the offensive line in front of Nix. So the nerves are there, but I think that Sean Payton will scheme up stuff for Nix to get the ball out quickly to these guys. And I think
I agree.
It will be explosive if Mims can learn how to run routes.
Oh, that'd be huge.
That would really help Bo Nix's development also, because I think some teams will understand that he's going to go to Franklin. Like that's his guy, and hopefully this is also to go back. This was one of my hopes. Like you build the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, the Jalen Waddle, Tua, thing that I talked about.
Drew
it just
Lock,
so happened.
But not wait.
But it happened in one draft somehow for the Broncos. And Nick, like I said, I do want to give you credit because you called Bo Nix to the Broncos, but the clip I was trying to find, which I will find by next week, was the one where, what did I say? I was like, by the time the Broncos drafted 12, 5 quarterbacks will be off the board.
Oh, yeah.
I called 5 quarterbacks being off the board.
Yeah.
Little did I know that J.J. McCarthy was going to jump to.
We excluded J.J. McCarthy from 10, that conversation.
And Bo Nix was going to drop to 12 in this case. But still, like, we both had some great calls. I didn't think Bo Nix was going to drop to the Broncos there. I thought they were going to have to move up. So, like I said,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, where I sit is I'm happy the Broncos got a quarterback, and you said it, Joe, about if they suck, they can move on. If Bo Nix isn't any good, they move on. I'm worried that if he isn't any good, that Sean Payton is too headstrong to move on. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. He might give, but at the same time, if Sean Payton gives Bo Nix 2 years, you know what that means. It's Arch Manning time. So, it's not really the end of the world. I have hope that I haven't had in a while, and excitement about what is to come, because there's something new. This isn't a retread quarterback again. This is the start of a rebuild, and I think the loss, once Cortland Sutton finally leaves the Broncos, it's going to be like, okay, this is the new offense. This is what Sean Payton wants, because I think it's going to be Michael Thomas signing here to play 5 games to replace Sutton.
3 to 5 games.
Yeah, but I am excited that we're in this where we're at, where the Broncos are at right now. It makes me excited.
New quarterback, new mentality.
Yes, good.
New philosophy, and some sweet new threads. Dude, I love those blues. And the 77s. Throwbacks made me happier than hell.
That's the only one I really got excited for, was the 77s.
Those blue ones were sweet.
They're pretty sweet, but the problem is how often are they actually going to do it, because they have all the different variations. I don't know. I still want the logo kind of, even if you redesign the D and kind of do it like the Rams did, where they took their old stuff and they modernized it and made it cooler, but that's kind of what I'm hoping for with the old school Bronco D. Something cool, sleek, or just bring the exact old one back. That's totally fine. But real quick, just for Bo Nix stuff, I know a lot of the reason that he had such a low air yards per target or whatever it was, a lot of that too was just that offense that Oregon ran. But I think that actually will end up helping him in the NFL, because he's used to getting the ball out quickly and throwing short routes, and that'll hopefully save him from that seeing ghosts, Sam Darnold, David Carr. Oh my God, this kid was good, but now he's just broken kind of thing. I feel like he's set up pretty well to function in that kind of mode of just dumping it off, doing quick, short things. Then he can develop that, further down and deep game later on. But it definitely is a concern. You're right, because anything can happen. And it's not. I think he's more athletic than Sam Darnold, so that might help him out too. So I feel like he has a little bit more of an advantage with a potentially weak offensive line. But hopefully these guys can all stay healthy and get a decent center, or one of those guys works out, and we won't have to worry as much about it. But I'm less worried about that. I'm more worried about Bo Nix making bad decisions and forming bad habits and kind of but then again, I'm just thinking back to all the quarterbacks that didn't work out with the Broncos, like Drew Lock and Paxton Lynch, and how they just fell back into their old college styles and weren't willing to adapt. So hopefully we don't see too much of that dink and dunk, and it's just like, oh look, we have an athletic Case Keenum.
I don't think Sean Payton's patient enough for a dink and dunk offense.
That's what he ran with Drew Brees.
Sean Payton's offense is dink and dunk. I mean, Russell Wilson's average targets and everything were almost the same as what Drew Brees was in his first year with Sean Payton. So it's very much the same. It was like 0.2 yards difference. So there's a lot of that, but I know we're moving. I'll get to the farms, but the thing that you're saying is you just have to have the playmakers, and the Broncos don't have those guys right now. And I don't know, like I said, if I can trust in a Tim Patrick to stay healthy or something to catch the ball that many times when it's that short pass. So I think it's still going to take a few guys. But with the uniforms, man, when did we become the Chargers? When did our shoulders become the Chargers? It looks like a lightning bolt. Don't even tell me it doesn't. It looks like the lightning bolt. My dog is scratching because he's so furious at the lightning bolt on the Broncos' shoulder. I do like them. There are a lot of triangles. I get it. It's Colorado. I like the 5280 on the helmet.
Oh yeah.
I just think that what they did like, what did they say they did? They interviewed like 25,000 people, or they took submissions from 25,000 people or something.
Yeah, he didn't talk to any of us.
No,
Yeah,
but the
I didn't have
problem
a
is,
conversation with him, and I'm a season ticket holder.
Yeah,
the
God
problem is that they like took all of this information, tried to put a bunch of stuff together, and instead of making it unique, or they tried to appease everybody, it feels like.
Yeah.
And they feel very UFL, XFL-y in some ways, which I don't mind totally. I think they're okay. I'm not blown away. I'm not excited by them. It's just, it's okay. I'm glad we got rid of this stupid thing.
Yeah.
Like across here, like that was the, you know,
I don't know.
some of my favorite players ever wore this uniform, but I just they're better than they were, but they're still not great. They're not the line.
Once the game starts, it's not going to matter anyway. You know, once the game starts, I'm not going to be looking at how awesome the uniforms look. I'm just going to be watching the game.
Yeah.
So it's a tertiary thought at this point.
Yeah, like I think I care more about the actual, just the colors than the entire uniform design and all that shit. Like, I just want the colors to look right. Like, it was cool to have the dark blue for a while, but it just felt like, you know, the Bears also. But that was the, you know, 90s, 2000s, edgelord, everyone's dark. The Chargers went dark blue for a little bit there, you know. So it was nice to get back to the orange. But, yeah, I want it to feel more like the OG Broncos.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, that does kind of look like a lightning bolt. Just looking over.
Speaking of lightning bolts, the Nuggets are just zapping their way through the first round right now, aren't they?
They're doing pretty good.
If they could just, you know,
win
start the game like they ended, that would be really nice.
No, because it's a marathon of a game. We've seen the Lakers doing that, and it hurts them every time. So I'm super glad to just chill out, slow start. We'll get there, because the Lakers can't keep up that kind of pace, and they're gonna tucker themselves out. The Nuggets are running a fucking Muhammad Ali rope-a-dope.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I would like them to just put one away on the Lakers. I think that when we had talked last week, I said Game 3 was the game the Lakers were going to steal of any of them, and they almost did. Really, like it was, and they do have to steal one at home still, because the Nuggets are easily the best team. They're showing why they're the best team in the NBA. It's, you say you'd like them to start faster. Yeah, I get that. But I also just think that we see what happens with Murray. It takes him a minute to warm up, it feels like. And then once he gets hot, it's like, okay, here we go. Now all cylinders are firing. It's like we had 3 out of a 4-cylinder engine going for a while. And then that 4-cylinder starts, it's like boom, boom, boom. And I think that with the way they're playing defense, it's not the end of the world for this team to have the slower start. It hurts more for them to blow a lead and to have to use that energy instead of just playing their game to come back, because they were just playing their game. They haven't gone off of it. So that's where I think is the biggest sign of improvement. They haven't fractured or stressed out by having those being down early.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to stress out about that, because it's this team that might end up being, you know, to Nick's point, their downfall to an extent is not being stressed out enough at certain times, and then not turn. But they seem to turn it on every time later on, and they're just kind of like slowly ramping up, as opposed to just, you know, all gas, no brakes, and then there's no gas left, and it's all we have left is brakes.
That would be all gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
Kind of like our viewership is going. Appreciate everyone jumping in here.
Yeah, that would be no gas, all brakes.
No, there's gas. We got gas.
There you go.
Appreciate
Thanks
everyone showing up.
We appreciate all of you. Was it nitrogen enriched? Or no, was it? Fuck. What's the chemical they put in like the gasoline? It's like, you know, isn't it nitrogen enriched gasoline? Yeah,
it's that nitrous.
Yeah.
So
we're fired up today.
Real quick too, I was just trying to find this. I wasn't ignoring you guys. Reggie Jackson is questionable for today.
Sounds
He was
about
wearing
right.
a walking boot post game Thursday, but he's questionable for tonight, and I would assume that means he's not going to play.
I mean,
Yeah, I would say, and I would even just keep him out tonight in general, anyways. Then
Take a
and
long rest.
Yeah, get it. Go back home if we need to in a game 5 to win it. I still think they'll win it tonight. The Lakers, I think, have given every single thing that they had in these first 3 games, and the Nuggets have answered. And you see it in LeBron and AD at their press conferences afterwards. You know, LeBron, it's just basketball. That's basketball, man.
Jamal made a shot.
They have nothing left this season. They see the writing on the wall, and it's up to the Nuggets to put the nail in the coffin. Really tonight, more so than it is for them to go out and win it. They just have to do what they did in the first 3 games and play their game. Not let the Lakers take it away. This is phenomenal. I can't wait for LeBron to lose.
It's a super
11
team.
straight. Yeah,
it's LeBron putting everything together, and they just cannot beat.
Or 12 straight.
This will be 12 if they do it. They've got 11 now.
A bunch of guys, just a bunch of dudes. You know, in our reality, like you look at the Nuggets rosters, I mean, especially before COVID, you know, this is just a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
And it's just like a team that like playing the game, and now they're like dominating LeBron and AD and all these teams. And it's just like, how long have the Nuggets been around? Since like what, 85? No, they've been around a lot longer.
No, they're 76 is when the team changed to the Nuggets. They're even older than that. But yeah, it's been painful to be a basketball fan in Denver for a while. And it's so great to see this.
It was such an
basketball renaissance, you know?
Yeah, it was such an ebb and flow because like you had the 90s with, you know, Dikembe and LaFonso Ellis and Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf and those guys. And then it kind of died away. And then, you know, Carmelo Anthony comes back, and you had the AI time, and, you know, it just did this. And there was no
80s. You had Alex English and, you know, old Issel. And 70s, you had Skywalker and regular Issel. You know, but it's just, they never quite had the team. They were always just right there. But just for whatever reason, you know, talent mostly, you know, getting close and not being able to figure it out. And it's been so great to see, and finally getting the national recognition, like hearing actual basketball people talk about how great this team is and how excited they are for, like, you know, matchup of the playoffs might end up being Nuggets Timberwolves in the next round because they're both up 3-0. So that's pretty much going to be the matchup. It's never happened before that someone's come back. So that'd be crazy to see, especially Phoenix pull that off. But it's most likely going to be Nuggets and Timberwolves, and that's going to be a crazy series. Again,
fun series.
As this one being like disappointing compared to last year, because last year was so fucking intense. Every game was so down to the wire, and it was such a big deal for beating them. Whereas this year, it's like, it just feels like a foregone conclusion. Like it's going to work out. You know, everything's going to be fine. You're down 20 in the third, and you know it's going to work out, and it just slowly starts getting up, and then you say, yeah, Jamal's going to take a shot, and you know everything's cool.
Who's your daddy? That's what it is. Like you just said it, Joe. I mean, the Nuggets are now expected to win these series. The tables have turned. I said it last week. The tables have turned. Where the last year's previous matchups, the Lakers were always the ones expected to win, and now it's the Nuggets. And I love it. I relish this because the Nuggets being the team that everyone is talking about. This has never happened for Colorado basketball ever. Like any of the teams, they were never the team to beat. It was always the Lakers. It was always somebody else that was a better setup. And now it's the Nuggets. I mean, the Nuggets are the class of the NBA.
Yeah.
So everyone is looking at knocking them off, no matter what idiotic crap comes out of who shall not be named on ESPN. Big fat guy. Whatever crap comes. Well, no, he's the skinny.
I know. I can't. Yeah. I do have to give him credit for that box suit commercial. That one line. where does the suit end and Kirk begin? That's just great. But that has nothing to do with intelligence or basketball takes. It makes me sad that he's also kind of funny.
well, maybe it's the intelligence was shown there when he doesn't know where the suit ends. But I just like these guys have stuck on the fact that some national guys have stuck on the fact that they have to hate the Nuggets for some reason.
Yeah.
And that's fine because you said it, Joe. So many guys are giving the respect and the kudos to the Nuggets, and it's well deserved. And I'm loving this moment because I didn't think that I would ever see the day where the Nuggets were the class of the NBA.
No.
We you know,
or even
we've seen it in all of the other sports. You know, we saw it for a brief moment with the Rockies once. But the Rockies still have never been the talk of the town. Only Rocktober was the only time they were the talk of the nation.
Yeah.
But the Nuggets truly are the talk of the basketball world. So we've had it for the Avs. We've had it for the Broncos. We've had it for the Nuggets now.
Damn it, Rockies, get your ass in gear.
It's sure. Yeah.
How funny would it be? I don't remember where. I don't remember if it was one of you guys or if it was my brother or somebody else that said this. How funny would it be if in the draft next year, Bronny declares the draft and the Nuggets pick him?
Yeah.
LeBron can't play with him.
And then they don't sign LeBron. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be funny. But I don't think I would want that circus here in town. We already got a Joker. We don't need a ringleader.
We don't need another clown.
I think it'd be hilarious. I remember
it would be fun.
I would give credit where credit's due, but I don't remember who said it, and I feel like it might have been my brother.
It was in our group chat, but you might have put it in our group chat from your brother. So who knows, man? But yeah, that would be funny. I still love the idea of just beating them anyway, like no matter what. Because I feel like one of two things will happen next year with LeBron and the Lakers. Either the Lakers try to retool and figure it out, and they bring in that third star that we all were shocked they didn't bring in at the trade deadline this year because we all knew they weren't good enough. They didn't have the momentum they had last year with the similar team. They needed that third guy. They needed, that DeJounte Murray, that Lauri Markkanen, whatever guy that was available, and Markkanen became way less available as the deadline came closer. DeMar DeRozan, whoever was going to be able to be traded that was like, teetering on star level that could just help them. And they never did. They, OG Anunoby went to New York and Pascal Siakam went to the Pacers. And the Lakers never brought in that guy. So maybe they use the offseason and the gravitation of the sun that LeBron James thinks he is and try to bring in some guys, and then we'll still beat him. Or he'll end up going wherever Bronny goes. And because there's a lot of talk, especially from the national media now, that like LeBron looks broken. He looks like he's about to retire. He doesn't look done, but he looks emotionally done. And I think he's going to take that as fuel and not retire. So I think the third option, I guess, is retirement, but I don't know. I feel like he'll just go wherever Bronny goes or go somewhere that's promised to draft him or some shit. But I think it's going to be the Lakers. I think he's going to stick there, and then we'll see what the hell happens. Or no, isn't Bronny staying in college? Or did he go for the draft?
No, he hasn't decided yet.
Okay, so we don't totally know. But I think they're going to try to bring in one more guy and give it one last hurrah, and we'll hopefully be able to beat that too. That'll be a lot of fun. Because now it feels like the Nuggets
there's calls talking.
We're the Celtics to what the bad boy Pistons were. And then, we're now the bad boy Pistons to what Jordan and the Bulls were. So
Ronnie declared for the draft, guys. I don't know where you're.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he declared.
Last I heard, he was debating on going back, but he had made his.
No, he declared for the draft.
I thought he went transfer
on April 5th, and he is also entering the transfer portal, giving him options. But he's declared for the draft. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, so he's in the transfer portal.
He's in the same position he was when I heard he's got 1 foot in the boat and 1 foot in the water.
Yeah, he's with both, but it's he's in the draft, right
for now.
Yeah.
For now. Yeah. Depends on where he decides to go.
Draft pending.
Yeah. So, Last night got a little chippy at the end of the game there. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I saw it.
That's a pretty nasty slash on that hand.
Yeah.
And that's not gonna get you to play tomorrow afternoon.
It was like 12:32 is the puck drop. I almost said tip off.
That game was full of fights. It was chippy the whole way, and that's what got the Avs back into it.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets get a penalty in the third period, 2 penalties in the third period, where the Avs get back-to-back goals.
Taves taking
within 2.5 minutes. Yeah, it was, and then the Avs were just like, then the Avs once again they went the "Who's your daddy" type of moment.
Yeah, they got pissed
off.
Right,
and that's it. We're going.
Yeah,
and they were nonstop in the last 5 minutes of the game. I mean, fights galore, pushing, shoving.
Oh, dude, Sammy G was a pest last night, and I love it.
Gerard, I mean, I don't want to say he was drunk out there, but he was acting like a crazy fool.
Oh,
you know?
He was just poking the bear left and right. He's like,
drunk like Jackie Chan in the Drunken Fist.
Yeah, I think he had oh man, what are the he had some extra smelling salts in his system for sure.
Oh yeah.
He was wired at the end of that game.
Yeah, he was.
That was phenomenal to see, and it just after game 1, so I thought it was after game 1, I thought it was going to be Eustace in net for the Avs. Georgie had a bad game, but to his credit, he came back in game 2. He gave up 1 early goal. Maybe it was 2 early goals. Gave up one or 2 early goals in game 2, and then he shut the door on the Jets. And game 3 last night, it was okay. It's 2-1 heading into the third. Avs scored first. Winnipeg got 2 in a row, and it was like, one was kind of lucky. I mean, a good shot, kind of lucky too at the same time. But for him to put up a brick wall the rest of the night, the defense is doing a great job, because at one point I saw in the third period, the Avs had 30 shots compared to 18 for Winnipeg, which is kind of scary for Georgie. 18 shots, you let 2 goals in.
But they've been dominating in the shots category too.
Yeah. And you have to against Hellebuyck.
Yeah.
You have to. Hellebuyck is hopefully he's hella broken right now after what the Avs did last night.
That guy can make a hella buck.
A 2-on-1 breakaway.
Yeah.
And fake him out so that he ends up flopping like Hasek and leaving all that top shelf open.
And then just
yeah, it was the Avs started to really play their game at the end of that third period last night. They opened it up.
They really got to see how Devon Taves rolls.
I think the Avs were feeling a lot of pressure in the first 2 games. And at first 2 games and then 2 periods, because once that third period started, they just flopped it out there and let it all hang out.
They've been a third period team all season too.
They did. It was like, that's the type of hockey that we saw, 2-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The guys just rolling. And we haven't seen that. I mean, Choo got the game winner officially, I believe, last night. He got the 3rd goal. It was. That's what I hope to see from the Avs in the next 2 games to win the series.
Yeah.
Well, the play. Yes,
I know. I'm messing with you.
but the style of play that they had, it was the Stanley Cup run.
Yeah,
2 years ago.
That's the all gas, no brakes.
Like that's yes, yeah, it really is the all gas, no brakes for that squad.
Big dick hockey,
So I think that if they keep that style, they're winning it all. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. If they can play like that on a night in, night out basis, no one's gonna stop them.
It's gonna come down to the goaltending, because the goaltending was.
Well, Joe's frozen, much like the Georgie stopped. I mean, and I was going to go back on Joe and say there's a little bit on the goaltending, but I think that if the Avs are playing like that, the goaltending isn't as important as it needs to, or can be.
Georgie.
Oh, are you back now?
Maybe he's back. Joe?
Nope.
Kind of.
He's still frozen.
No, I just didn't want to
Middlestead
move for a
too.
second. I was messing with you guys.
I clap back. I kind of said, I think what you're saying, it comes down to goaltending, and I had to clap back and say, I don't think it's as much about the goaltending if the Avs are playing like that. Because they're going to outscore anybody when they're playing that type of offense.
Well, Middlestead had his little coming out party last night too.
Casey, big pickup from the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Georgie can't lose the game for you, but he can. It's kind of like the DU hockey team early in the season. Matt Davis was letting through a lot of goals, but the team was just outscoring everybody.
Yeah.
So you knew if the Pios put up 6, they were going to win because Matt wasn't going to let any more than 5 go, really. And that's what it feels like for the Avs. If the Avs put up 5, Georgie just don't give up more than 4. And that's how it feels right now after the last 2 games. Georgie, stop them to an extent. You don't have to be perfect. Sure, we'd love you to be perfect, but you're not. And so stop them, hold them to 2 or 3 goals. We'll get the rest for you.
Well, and I think the fan base too last night with all the Georgie chants, that should be giving him some lift too, because obviously there's all the talk of put Juice in net, no more Georgie's giving up too many goals. And I mean we look at the season, he does have a tendency to just kind of peak and valley, and so it looks like he's starting to peak again at just the right time. You just got to do it for 16 dubs now.
His pupils are dilated. He's hitting that great time of the night. He's peaking.
Real quick before I turn it over to Colin, Rockies are in Mexico tonight, playing the Houston Astros. 2 games set down in Mexico, 7,000 feet above sea level. So let's see how those baseballs go flying.
Hopefully they don't have a humidor.
Yeah, right. And the best thing about this week, I think, for the Rockies, coming back on the Padres after Jerks and Profar decided to bat flip right in front of the dugout. I'm like, dude, you've already said you're Mr. Irrelevant because of all the shenanigans that happened, a week ago when he's getting thrown at. And so, yeah, I'm glad the Rockies came back and won that game.
That was a great comeback. Nick, what I will say is you are wrong about the best thing about this week. The best thing about this week coming up is that I will be in Miami on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, but I'll be at the game on Tuesday. Welcome to Miami. I got my beach body. Yeah. My beach body.
You gotta go get a Cuban coffee. You gotta go get a Cubano.
I have a list of a few places. If you got a list of places for me to go, I don't yet time to go explore. Well, I'm gonna
have to wait for you to tell me what to do.
I will. There will be a full recap of places to go, but I'm excited about heading down to Miami, getting a little beach time in. Maybe get to see the family on the other side. Go out to the Gulf side. We'll see if that works out. But that is not, in all actuality, the best part was the comeback on the Padres. However, do you know the Rockies have trailed in 26 straight games?
Do you know the Rockies still haven't won a series?
Oh, well,
the one against the Padres was the first one they hadn't lost.
Going 26 straight games without a lead, or not at one point being down is not a good way to win anything. So,
but I think sending Goodman down bringing Goodman back up and sending Toglia down is probably a good move too. I've been following the Isotopes, and they've got some pretty decent offensive pieces. I mean, they had a slugfest with the Dodgers the other night. I
was gonna say I don't think AAA has the humidors.
I don't think they do.
Because Albuquerque is not. It's not a mile high, but they're pretty close.
That's why the Rockies had them.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like their offense, like some of those numbers, you gotta watch out for.
Yeah, well, I mean, when the Rockies AAA team's playing the Dodgers AAA team and the score is like 17-12, that kind of shows you where that offense is. And I mean, they were looking pretty good.
I did have a profit moment on that San Diego game. I almost I didn't log in. I was logging in and I got distracted because I was going to bet on the Rockies to come back and win the game.
Oh, were you?
And I can't remember. And then I just all of a sudden they started to come back. I'm like, damn it, I've missed it.
Oh, missed your window.
Missed it by this
But
much.
I was like logging in to see because I knew the odds had to be huge. I'm guessing they were plus like 2,500 or 3,000 or more.
Yeah,
they were down by 7.
Something 6, something like that.
They were down by 6 and ended up winning. They got 7.
Yeah,
or whatever it was. But yeah, I had a profit moment.
All right. Well, for everybody's sake, hang on a moment. Thank you for tuning in, but it's time to turn it over to Colin now. So prepare yourself.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, it's jam.
The Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. At least. Featuring Nick Archuleta, wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin, just kind of winging it.
Welcome welcome all to the victory formation here on the last Saturday in April as we turn it over to May. It is snowing in Denver and I'm ready for Miami, but I'm also ready to get some picks correct for y'all.
It's snowing in Miami
we'll see if Nick and Joe can follow along.
You're getting snow?
As last week, yeah, it's definitely snowing outside.
I'm still in rain.
It's gonna hit, but as last week hit, 2 of us went 2-2. 1 of us went 1-3.
Oof.
We'll start things off with the Predators versus Canucks in Game 1. Joe was the only one to choose the Canucks correctly. The Predators, though, have looked good in this series. They are down 2-1, but Joe won 16.90 on that one. We moved to Sunday Night Baseball, where Joe and Nick's Braves, should have gone go Texas Rangers because they defeat the Rangers defeat the Braves, and I was the only one to pick that one correctly at the best odds of the week, by the way. So I won 24-20 on that. Joe and I, the basketball guys, don't know anything apparently because the 76ers lost to the Knicks.
Yep.
Joel Embiid needed to, I guess, kick some more people in the nuts to get a victory, but the Knicks win Game 1, and Nick got that one correct at 16.45 profit. And we move on to the UFL, where we chose the Renegades against the Roughnecks. Well, the Roughnecks at plus 130 came through for Joe and I.
Yeah.
And Nick, the Renegades lost you and put you in the negative for the week. Nick loses $13.55 this week, keeping him in third place, bringing him down to 167.66. Joe, you were in second place this week, winning $19.90, but still in first overall at $361.56. I won the week, winning $27.20, so $8, basically $7.30 of profit over Joe, bringing my total to $228.43. Let's get into this week's picks, everyone. We have some good ones. We're going to kick it off with the UFL. And we have the Michigan Panthers versus the Memphis Showboats. Michigan Panthers minus 105. Memphis Showboats minus 125. Nick, who you got?
I just like Michigan Panthers, so I'm going to go Michigan Panthers.
He's taking the underdog Panthers. Joe, who you got?
Because I went Bolton in Nashville. Wait, Memphis. Strong.
Go to bed, dog.
Do it.
Some dog eating something he can't eat.
He's good. He probably can.
He isn't. Oh, he can chew on it, but I don't want him to. The whole reason why he's been stuck in his little tunnel area for the last few days because he's chewing on crap he shouldn't be. Hey.
No.
So Joe has Memphis.
Taking Memphis.
I'm pretty sure Memphis was my team at the start of the season, right? No, I don't think.
No,
I
you took
I had the Roughnecks, right? I had the Roughnecks.
Houston, yeah.
Well, actually, no. I think last time I chose Memphis, I chose wrong, so I am going with Nick in Michigan in this one. We move on to Sunday night baseball. We have once again, this is going to tear Nick's heartstring. Chicago Cubs versus the Boston Red Sox in Boston. Joe, who you got?
I don't know. In Boston, I'll take Boston.
I am taking the Red Sox also over the Cubbies, and I already had Nick in there. I don't even need to look at my screen to know that Nick is
Rhino strong, baby.
Cubs. I'm gonna see. You have your Cubs hat on too. I didn't even recognize that earlier. Well, yeah. So I already had Nick in for the Cubs either way. Regardless, I was gonna say good thing he doesn't have to look anything up because you'd hear him typing away, figuring it out. We move on to deciding game 4 in the could be a decisive game 4 in the NBA, where we have the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Phoenix Suns. This one is in Phoenix. We talked about it a little bit earlier. The Timberwolves are up 3-0. Suns have not looked great. Timberwolves have definitely been more physical, but I am expecting the home team to steal one and extend this series for a moment. So give me the Suns at plus 105, not a big favorite. I think that they just have a little bit more fight in them than they showed the last night. So that's kind of what I'm going with. Plus, I just secretly hope that this series gets extended a little longer for the Nuggets' sake. Yeah, we can talk about Anthony Edwards being a complete D-bag later.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got?
Who's at home?
The Suns.
Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, screw it. I'll go with the Suns.
Joe, who you got?
I'm taking the T-Wolves. I don't trust the Suns. They don't seem to have enough. I feel like Booker and Durant is kind of redundant. It kind of feels like Melo and AI, how they both just do the same things, and they're both great at it, but there's only one basketball. So I don't see how they're going to be able to overcome that defense unless Minnesota just kind of doesn't care as much.
It's all fair. All fair. I think you're probably right, but like I said, my heart is going with the Suns winning. But
we were both wrong last week, so this week one of us
has to be right. So there you go. We move on to game 3 Sunday night. Oilers versus the Kings in the NHL playoffs. Oilers favorites on the road in La La Land minus 145. Kings underdogs plus 125. Who you got, Joe?
I don't know. My first thought is Oilers because it's Edmonton, but it's also hockey, so I'm going to take the Kings.
You are right. It is Edmonton. It's Draisaitl, McDavid. They're pretty good.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take the Oilers because I didn't think the Kings were going to even make the playoffs this year, and they should have been sellers, and the Avs should have gotten Jonathan Quick. So I'm just gonna say they're gonna exit early. Well, not exit early. The Oilers are definitely a better team, but
they're gonna exit quick.
Yeah. Yes, they're gonna end. Well played. Got it. Nailed it. Nick, who you got?
I mean, you nailed everything. Oilers all the way. Kings should not be there. They should not really exist as a hockey team right now. Well, I mean, actually, they weren't that bad. They just went on a really good run.
They shouldn't exist. Give them the NCAA death sentence.
Give them the Phoenix Coyote sentence.
Yeah. We'll send them. Let's see. We'll send them to Idaho.
Taters.
Send them to Boise.
All right. Well, there you have it. It is the Oilers for Nick and myself, and the Kings for Joe. As we wrap it up, we head into this weekend. Look forward to the socials, everybody. I'll be posting some stuff from Miami. It's probably going to be a lot of stupid crap and just me rubbing it in the face of Nick and Joe and probably talking shit because that's what I do to these guys. But I'm number one. Thank you, Nick.
Why would you do anything else? Actually, no, I am. I'm winning still.
Technically. How's your DraftKings account?
It's looking great. It's looking great. It's not
I haven't touched it in a while, so it's still got $400 in it.
That's funny. I just withdrew 400 the other day.
Nice. For Colin Zanker, Joe Goodwin, I'm Nick Archuleta. This has been the Undrafted Uncensored. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in. Thank you to Michael Spillman and everybody over at E5280sports.com for allowing us to do this. And especially thank you to you all that continue to tune in and listen to us jaw-jack over absolutely nothing. Without you, we couldn't have this. I mean, we would still have this fun, but it wouldn't be as entertaining. It'd probably be stupid. So keep tuning in because we'll get dumber as the shows go on.
Let's go, Broncos!
Go Nuggets!
If you thought this was stupid, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's go Avs!
Go, everybody. And Rockies.
Sure.
Yeah, go Rockies. They're playing Houston.